there we go. It's also being recorded now too, but
Okay, got
yeah,
you.
I'm sharing my screen. I think you can see what I'm writing, but yeah, I wrote it down.
Oh, yeah, I didn't see it early. Sorry, I'm on my phone. Okay.
Okay, and Angelina, you are focused on what you're doing, and we're having a conversation, so it makes it very challenging. Let's be candid, okay? That you're fine,
Okay.
don't worry. And I would do my best to explain it anyhow. I think we're good, okay? And
Yeah.
once again, you have more questions, you could reach out to me. So I think your second question was your Prospero protocol, basically peer-reviewed studies only, but there were found to be what is it, the reprints?
Yeah,
Do you have how many reprints do you have?
just one.
That's what I thought. Just double checking, and thought it was that Med RX, whatever it is. Um, some things to go and just think about it is, if you talk about strict adherence, you know, it does look at, and I'm not sure, does Prospero say to exclude preprints?
I don't think so. I think it's possible that we can keep them, but here, because that's one way in a qualitative study we can assess for publication bias, using data that didn't get.
Well, that's kind of what I was getting at. Even, I mean, did they explicit if they so I wouldn't sweat so much if they didn't explicitly say no preprints, okay? So make sure that you look, and I'll try to look too, to be honest with you, but right offhand I just perused it quickly and I didn't see it, but I thought, well, you guys know this much more intimately than me at this point. If it said no preprints, you still could use it, but you kind of should not. But if you did include it, you would have to submit an amendment, if that makes sense, saying something that you why you used it. And I think it's okay if it would skew anything or because of the limited data. However, permission adjustment, you can certainly deviate, but if from that, whatever the case is, you just really want to be transparent, and you would justify the reason, the timeliness or the emergence of the data. And a great example would have been in COVID. Outcomes or newly published data, there really wasn't very much, so they used it all the time. So I think things loosened up since post-COVID because we needed information, we needed data that was out there. I think the other part comes into because this would affect methodology robustness. If it's a solid study design, sufficient data, and you have data transparency, I think it's a good idea. The sensitivity of the analysis, you could test it whether I mean, the other thing is it really meaningful? Does it alter the results or not? Um, I mean, if it doesn't say no, you can't use it, then I'd be fine. Um, you could clearly use something of preprint med-R is not peer reviewed at this time of the analysis included in the sensitivity analysis, primary synthesis restricted to peer reviewed literature. You could say something to that. You could really say one eligible study was available as a med, you know, R RVIX or however it is, preprint at this time of data extracted, given the um, limited studies or given its methodological completeness and relevance. I kind of think that's important. Um, this performed a sensitivity analysis, included the study. The inclusion did not substantially alter the pooled estimates. Does that help?
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of how I would put it, because you have a great justification. It maintains your protocol integrity. It really gives you a lot of flexibility. It for that emerging data that's so important. You have a you're very transparent about it. Um, you're in good shape. It preserves the comprehensiveness, while ensuring transparency. So personally, I think you're okay with both of those.
It's great. Yeah, I think like that would probably be the best way to handle this. Another like plus of adding it, I think, I don't know, would probably be publication bias too, because I didn't really know how to handle that. I felt like that was maybe a weaker part of our analysis because it's harder to do tests for publication bias without using statistics or funnel plots. So I think by saying like we included a study that wasn't peer reviewed, it might have something like might reflect positively on publication bias, but I'm not sure.
Like I said, I think you are okay. Um, from this perspective. So as long as, and like I said, run your analysis, Angelina, make sure that you know what what if there's any, what the sensitivity is, the difference is. Now, your third question,
Oh,
should you have some preliminary data from your own collection data? I kind of would stay away from that. This is where it gets a little dicey, and I think you could it could get murky, and because you're using your own data, and you, of course, you'd be citing yourself, but it might look like you had a preference or a bias there. So that would be my own. I would get this one published first. Once you get that, you could include it in another study afterwards, or something that you would do from a different angle. I would do it that way. That would be my personal opinion. I get a little nervous with those kind of things, to be honest with you.
sounds good. And circling back to the second question, I was wondering, do we have to submit an amendment to Prospero, or should we just explain it in the study?
I think you just need to explain it in the study. I would only really write it in, submit it to Prospero if it says no preprints.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Because like I said, I feel as if since post-COVID, things have kind of opened up in that area a little bit.
Sounds good.
And it's all your wording. And I'm happy to double check your wording on that too.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that's good. Okay.
Angelina, the bigger question is, how do you feel about it?
Um, I think regarding to everything else, I feel that it is gonna be hard with, especially with like the funnel plots. I think that's what I'm worried about. But I feel that if as long we're like, stating our limitations and everything else, I think we just need to put in more effort and we'll be okay with it.
Okay. Okay.
And I know this study has been going on for so long, so I feel like this shouldn't be a problem as long as we're consistently working together.
Okay.
Yeah. How do you feel about this, Jeannie?
That's all the questions that I had. I really like your idea to um you do this as a sensitivity analysis, like include two separate analyses, one with and without the disaggregated data. I think that's a very elegant way to do it, and I'm very happy with it.
And that shows a lot of rigor, to be honest with you. That's quite impressive, to be honest. Very.
Yeah. On a very bright note, the study is officially under peer review, and one reviewer already finished their opinion.
Good. I was just going to ask you that, so tell me a little more. What are they saying?
I don't know. I don't know what they ended up saying. Let's see if I can find the email to see if there's been any updates. But I just am aware that they here it is. They sent it to peer review. One review was completed, one review invitation was accepted, and two plus are waiting. That's a lot faster than I was expecting.
Good. Well, particularly over the holidays, but maybe it was a great time too, because they had time and a break from their regular activities.
I know, I think like only a day or two after this person got the paper, they finished their review.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. I was asking, I'm like, okay, since we got past that, I haven't heard anything. I was like, that's sometimes a good sign. So, you just wait and hear, but this is wonderful.
Yeah, I know. I'm really happy about that. I hope we get to publish it sooner than the year mark. They said on average it takes a year.
Yeah, well, you remember when you're applying for your applications for medical school, remember you have submitted and it is under peer review. It is completely fine to do that. Okay?
Yeah, I think it's really good work too.
You.
I hope other outreach organizations can read this and learn from it.
I agree. And I think that's the bigger part of it is how important that, this is such a large population that needs to be really looked at it and looking at an a community in it. You're doing it from a community-based framework and screening and reaching out and the work that's done. And a lot of people don't really, right. I mean, they may be doing, I'm sure there are a lot of places that are probably doing this work because that would be unconscionable to be able to think that people aren't. Um, but having the time to write about it, to take the time to evaluate it, to take the time to make that's impressive. It
Yeah.
really is.
And what do you think about like Yakub? I'm not sure if we should talk to academic integrity and tell the journal that we'd like to remove him as an author because I talked to people on the team and it seems like most people didn't really notice anything he contributed. He wrote like a paragraph after I explained exactly what to write. He fixed some typos. What would you suggest that we do about that?
Yeah,
As an author, it doesn't really matter to me.
you can go through it however you want. What the integrity of it that it does make you struggle a little bit. Um, when we've had this conversation before, but it wasn't really on this, about when the reviewers ask you to review something, to rewrite it, or to take a perspective that maybe you weren't, wasn't yours. Um, you either do it or you don't in order to get published. So, would this be a hold up to get published or not? I think that might be a possibility. Um, I
Yeah,
don't.
we'll just leave it then. It
I
doesn't
think
really
I would
matter.
just, to be honest with you, it just might be worth leaving, not to go through all the other pieces that you'd have to have everybody sign and go through. Um,
Sounds good. We
I,
can just leave it.
and I struggle with this, to be honest with you, but this is a learning lesson. And, for you not to publish, I don't know necessarily think it would be, or have to have a bigger holdup would be worth it, is what I'm trying to get across.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not a comfortable situation from my perspective either.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter, I guess. Yeah. He's calling me racist for being upset with him for calling me a donkey, in Hindu. It's ridiculous.
Oh my.
That.
That's just, um, yeah, it's really it's unnecessary. He's obviously hurt. He's angry. He has a lot of anger issues to begin with. I don't think you should provoke him anymore. And I kind of look at it, I've always been concerned for your better well-being, and you know that.
Yeah, we'll just leave it and not talk to him anymore.
I think it's the easier route, to be honest with you.
Sounds good.
Remember, you want published, you want peace of mind. There may be another point in your life where you want to take something like this on, but not right now.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Is there anything else you want to talk about, Angie?
Um, so I was thinking for the sensitivity analysis. Sorry, I like looked it up how I can do it and get started on it. I was actually wondering if we have, besides Andrea, who else is really familiar with this?
I don't think Andrew would be a very good help
Okay.
because she's a purely statistician,
Mm,
and I don't think this is going to be involving numbers.
okay.
What do you think, Carol?
Probably, I actually don't think there's going to be too much numbers, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Um, unless you see something so off the charts, but I have a feeling this one study is not going to make that
Mm,
much of a difference.
okay. Yeah, because I was just wondering if actually, well, have you, Dr. Cool, like made a sensitivity analysis before?
I've done it with somebody and work, but it's clearly not I'm going to be honest, clearly not my area
Okay.
but it would be something that I've seen done. Um, this is not where I would not feel, I clearly am not the expert, but I
I
kind of
s-
know a little bit about it. Does that make sense?
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because I was just hoping if someone could really educate me on this, because I know it's gonna
No, no,
be
no, no, it's okay. I'm trying to think if I know anybody I mean, I can help you a little bit, but I actually, when we talk about a sensitivity analysis, trying to think of someone who might know a lot more. Um, Let me just look here.
Oh, and I
because
think
I
I do have to
haven't.
get going right now. I'm sorry.
Okay. No,
Um,
no worries. Yeah.
that email to you and everybody on the team.
Okay.
And Angelina, we can talk a little bit later tomorrow, whatever. I've been